get into that right now, actually. There were certainly more positives than negatives in this game for sure. So, I mean, tell me, what were a few positive things that you took away from this game?
Two main positive things I took away from this game were Grant Gunnell's performance. I thought he was just excellent, completing like 24 out of 36 passes, almost 300 yards, three touchdowns. I just thought he was fantastic. And this might sound crazy to some, but I think Grant Gunnell is better than Keaton Slovis right now. I don't want. I'm tired of all the disrespect on Grant Gunnell's name, and I think Slovis is just overrated. Like we saw, like when he throws the ball, like it doesn't even seem like he's throwing a spiral half the time.
Oh, that one throw that
That
went
was
over the middle and that last. I can't remember who caught it. I think it was Drake London, but that was so ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you have like when all your receivers are 4 and 5 star players, like it's not that hard. They make you look better. So like I think he's so overrated. But let's get back to the Wildcats. I mean, starting with Grant Goodell and then the running backs, Gary Brightwell really put on a fantastic performance. I mean, he had over 100 yards rushing. I mean, he had a few catches in the backfield, and then adding on to him, Michael Wiley didn't have the big stats like that, but when he did carry the ball or catch it, I mean, I think he was very good too. And just their overall receiving group. I mean, coming into the year, we didn't expect to see guys like Tavon Cunningham and Stanley Berry Hill at the top of that list, and those two guys were just great in this game. I mean, like it seemed like the main target was Berry Hill like the whole game. I mean,
It definitely was on that last drive. I think he caught the ball like 3 or 4 times. On
yeah,
that power drive.
it seemed like he was like the check down. Like whenever like Cannell needed to get rid of the ball, it was Berry Hill right there. I mean, like I thought he was great. I mean, Joyner had a touchdown. He wasn't as involved as we might have hoped. But the guy that I love, Booby Curry, I just want to see him more involved. I mean, he only caught like 2 balls, and he wasn't throwing the ball that much, which was just weird because we know the connection between those two. But I think they need to look to go to him more in the red zone and just like I think I like with his size, I think he can beat most cornerbacks.
Yeah, I think Booby Curry kind of had a tough time last week because I think Chris Steele was just on him like all game. He was locking him up. But I think the best is definitely yet to come with this offense. Like, we saw how good it was last week, but it's going to be even better later on because we only saw 2 running backs of the 4 that they have to choose from. Gary Brightwell took all the carries just because he played so well. So you're not going to take the ball out of his hands, but we're going to see Jalen John and Nathan Tilford more involved. Michael Wiley's going to get going, and we didn't even see Brian Castile last week either in that wide receiver core. So the best is certainly yet to come for that offense. And we all had high hopes for this Arizona offense, but just to actually kind of see the success on the field and a real game situation was just so awesome. Like the offense would just look so much better than last year's. Like Grant Gunnell was actually going through his reads and he was hitting the checkdowns when nothing was open downfield. Like we never saw that last year. Like if their first read wasn't open, like Tate just launched it like 40 yards down the field and hope somebody caught it. Like it just sucked to watch. It was so much better last week, and just utilizing the checkdowns it's just so important. Like we saw how successful that was when they took the yards that the defense was giving them. Like that one play with Jamari Joyner, that touchdown catch. Gunnell went through his reads and then he dumped it off to Joyner for a little 5-yard drag route, but Joyner caught it and turned it up the sideline and took it 30 yards to the house. Like it was just so awesome because that play wasn't supposed to be for Jamari Joyner. Like that route was Gunnell's second or third read on that play. And, he kind of just dumped it off and gave the ball to his playmakers and he made a play. It was awesome to see. So like the offense was great.
Yeah, and it was just great to see because every guy pretty much and the offense we've been raving about for weeks and months, it's like it all just came true. And it, like you said, it was just crazy to look at, because that offense last year was just it was just horrible pretty much. I mean, J.J. Taylor was good. I mean, and Tate was just kept struggling. I mean, it was just crazy to watch, especially against such a great team. I mean, or a team that people think could be great. I mean, because to me, I think this offense outperformed USC's offense. I mean, especially in that game. I mean, like I just think USC, like I think if we play that game a few more times, I think that Arizona wins that football game. And I think this like it's only good things moving forward. I mean, like with Grant Gunnell, I mean he's a sophomore. We could see him for 1, 2 more years, and I just think they really can compete for the Pac-12 next year, and maybe if he comes back for one more. I mean, because if he keeps this up, I mean, I don't think he'll be here past next year. And same with Gary Brightwell. I mean, with that type of power running, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the offense looked really good, but the defense showed up too. Like, I mean, I think almost everyone, including myself, kind of predicted that Arizona's defense would just kind of get steamrolled against USC, just based off the amount of talent that the Trojans have. But that unit really held their own. Like, they gave up 34 points, but I think 14 of those were just a product of stupid penalties, like we talked about earlier. A lot of dumb penalties on third downs that kind of just extended the drive for USC, but. I think the craziest stat that really made me optimistic about Arizona's defense was that they had 6 red zone trips and only gave up 20 points. Like, they held their own in the most important part of the field. Like, sure, you can say USC's play calling in the situation, but you still got to tip your cap to Arizona's defense for holding up in that part of the field, the most important part of the field. So, we, especially because we didn't see that at all last year. Like, I felt like, as soon as, the other team got in the end zone or in the red zone, it was a free 7 points. Like, there was just no form of red zone stops last season. And now we're seeing it this year. Like, you have to, give props to the defense a little bit. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, and as we said, especially in the red zone, like I couldn't even believe what I was watching. Like when
I
those
know.
stops, like it was just like mind blowing actually. Because like USC, like I mean, I think it was a little combination of USC underperforming and
Yeah.
us overperforming, maybe. But maybe this defense is legit. I mean, they just seem like they're just trying harder. Maybe I mean, like it just seems like they wanted a lot. I mean, after missing that first game against Utah, I do think it fueled them a little bit. I mean, as I said, I mean, this like yeah, I think this defensive group might be pretty good. I mean, yeah, they might have struggled at times, but like overall, like yeah, I mean they had that touchdown late, so like they gave up 34 points, but like it wasn't really 34, it was really like 27. And yeah, like I thought they were easily gonna hang like probably 40 on us.
Yeah, I think I liked the game plan that Arizona's defense had going into this. It was kind of that bend but don't break mentality. Like, I feel like they were in the red zone pretty much every drive, but whether they scored a touchdown or not was kind of the biggest decision. So like kind of that game plan of like, yeah, you can have these yards, but as soon as you get inside the 20, like that's where we're locking up. Like, I loved that game plan, and kind of just playing it safe like that and trusting the offense that if they give up 3 points, that's cool. Our offense is going to go out there and get 7 the next drive. Like, I liked that the defensive scheme was kind of built around this idea of the offense is going to help us out. And, we were talking about it vice versa, that the offense needs to play a game plan that helps out the defense. But I didn't even think about it the other way around. The defense played the scheme, helping the offense out and trusting the offense. I really liked to see that. And I think kind of kind of the memo of the game was that, oh, USC sucks. USC should have blown this team out. I think that was kind of the way people kind of thought this game, but you have to give Arizona some credit here. Like, they played really well. They played their butts off. They didn't win this game, but they definitely deserved to win this game. They played really well.
Yeah, I thought it was like a moral victory. I mean, like yeah, for that performance, and it's just like a shame for like a group like this. I mean, potentially only playing like 5 more games this year. Like I could only imagine like if they would have a full season, like what this team could do. I mean, like I think the sky's the limit with this group. I mean, add a few more like good defenders with that defensive back group, and I think that this team could be very, very competitive next year.
I can't help but think what that team would have looked like if they still had Colin Schooler and Tony Fields. Because if it wasn't for this pandemic, they probably both would have still been here. So it just sucks to see that this team is playing well, and imagine what they could be doing if they had their 2 best guys here. But I also want to give a shout out to the special teams. I know it was only one good game that they had, but I think we have to acknowledge it because we might never get this opportunity to say this again. But nice job from them last week. I mean, Tyler Loop and Lucas Haversick had great games. Loop only punted the ball a few times, but he averaged 45 yards per punt, which is more than solid, especially for Arizona's track record of what they've had in the past punting game. Like Kevin Sumlin even said it. He said, "I'll take 45 yards every day of the week, every single punt." Like it was such a breath of fresh air to actually see a good punt go off. Like it was just so deflating last year when the offense would go 3 and out, and it was as if that terrible offensive possession couldn't get any worse. And then the punter shanks it and it only goes 20 yards, and all of a sudden the other team is starting the ball at mid. Like it just sucked to see. It was just so much better to see today, or excuse me, last week, to see an actual good punt come out of that unit. And Haversick had a good game too. Like he missed that first attempt, and it was kind of that same thing. It was like, oh God, here we go again, another year of bad kicking. Like, but he settled in really nicely. He broke his career best for most field goals in a game with 3, and one of them was a 54 or 51 yarder to give Arizona the lead back in the fourth quarter. Like we already knew he had a big leg, but so that 51 yarder wasn't anything new to us. But I think the biggest thing with him was always been the accuracy. But either way, I thought the special teams did their thing, and I'm a little optimistic about that position group too.
Yeah, I just overall would give this performance an A. I mean, yeah, every performance you could pick apart certain things, but overall, I mean, nobody expected this. Nobody picked Arizona, and nobody thought that with a few minutes left, like they had a real shot to win that football game.